Well, good evening, everybody. The Hooves were on at Gosford today. The track was a heavy 8, mightn't have been that bad. The rail was 3 metres out from the 1600 to the 1100 and 5 metres for the remainder. There was no wind. Bias on the track. If you got track wide in the run, you had to have plenty on the field to get home. There wasn't one runner that did that at all. Best to be on the fence leading or slide through and saving ground on the fence. That was an advantage. So, as I say, near the fence, leading on the fence, saving ground, an advantage. This game, fair dinkum, it's a classic. Well, bookies, there were 4 captains on the fence today, me and another bookie in the outside ring. It's just hilarious. You play to an empty house. Pros are there betting. And we nearly set a world record today. There's a couple of things I'd like to tell you. What about the Giddy Goat? They've got 2,000 outlets in New South Wales. This will tell you how much that they must be holding these fixed odds. If anybody out there looking to bet fixed odds, you're just having yourself on, aren't you? There are 2 shops and exactly together, and one sell the carton of milk for $2 and $2.50 next door. You blokes walking in by paying the $2.50 for the carton of milk instead of the one next door for $2. I suppose you don't know the difference. I've said before, 6 to 4 and 9 to 4. All the tab does is turn up the 9 upside down, give you 6 to 4, and we're giving you 9 to 4. It's only 10%. You wouldn't know the difference. Anyway, as a classic today. On the flux screen, 8 races at Gosford today, there was only one race where there were positive over 100. It was the second race, and it said 105.9, and we actually bet 100 in the ring. How do we get 100? We got 100, less the Toyota Lexus. But all the other races on the flux were under 100. I'll get to that after. What about the tote? The wind tote on betting on Gosford today in the first race held 31,000. They've got 2,000 outlets in New South Wales. Place all the people sitting at home who can just pick up the phone or press on the dial or however they bet, and of course people at the course and all the other people who are betting with them. 31,000 had held for on the wind tote. Now, forget about all the people sitting at home. That's an average of $15 on the wind tote in every tab, in a tab. $15 a tab. $15 a tab the first race. Betting on the win. It's betting in not even pennies. The second race, they held 25,000 for the win. It's $10.50 a tab. That's just for the tabs, beside the people sitting at home. So it's nothing, isn't it? The third race, they held 62,000 for the win. It's $30 a tab for the win. If someone had $30 on something somewhere in a tab. Next race, 63,500, and another $30. Next race, 60,000 for the win, another $30 a tab. The next race, 65,000, another $30 odd a tab. Or the next race, they got 105,000 for the win. They splurged out the punters there and the tabs. They averaged $50 a tab in New South Wales. And the last race, just under the spot, 97,000, around about again, $50 a tab for the win. Boy, they must be as I wrote a while back, the win and place pool, since they started betting these fixed odds, where they're giving everybody unders, has decreased, I think, by around about 35%. And it's just going to keep on going down and down and down, because the mugs you've got betting with you at the moment, they walk in and they see $3.40 fixed, which you're giving them, and it's fixed all right. It's fixed under what everybody else is giving, and it's, say it's $3.40 on your tote. They'll fall into you, and the fixed odds are $3.40. You must be holding absolute fortunes on it. First race today, bookies On the flux screen, it said 99.9, 99.9. We gave 96. The opening favourite, Star Craze, sat behind them. There was only a field of 5. Sat behind them from barrier 1, had every possible chance, and only went from $2.25, 5 to 4 to $4. Didn't have a name. I lost on the first race. The winner was found by the pros. One of the first horses backed, 17 into 13, back out to $15 towards the end of betting. Starting favourite in the race was Ducarius. $4 was given, opened up 5 to 2, got out to $4, started $3. It's not even worth mentioning. There were 5 runners and they were a team of trotters. Don't get involved with any of them. The next race, very average lot again, another fat field of 5 runners, and this was the race where the screen said 105.9. We gave 100. The favourite was Frankenfurter. It ran second, and it beat it ran second to the second pick, Cooper Claim. As I say, 5 runners, and Cooper Claim was returned $2.90. It was $3.20 begging at the death, so the SP is wrong. It opened up 6 to 4, got out to $2.80. Taken at one stage into $2.70, but started $3.20. Next runner, Frankenfurter, went up 10 to 9 on $1.90, got out to $2.40 and started that price. Next runner was 50s to 100s. Top Glory was $18 out of 20, back into 15. And the bottom one, Fly Philly 5, $4 to $4.60, back into $4. A neat 100. And Cooper Claim at barrier 1 sat behind 2 leaders on the fence and was a bit too strong for Frankenfurter, as I say, to beat it by 0.8 of a length. Not worth mentioning. Race 3, Fluckboard, 99.1 in the ring, 96.5. The opening favourite was the second horse, First Class Flyer, and the difference in the second favourite, they ran the Cornella, Cangister. It had the hood on today, Cangister, which might have made the difference and finish up fine in the lead. Anyway, the First Class Flyer looked like it was going to hold the lead early in the race, but sitting on the south side, Cangister, ridden by Corey Brown, his father Schofield was on the favourite First Class Flyer. When Corey just gave it released the pressure a little bit earlier on, after they got a furlong and a half, he got to the lead, and then Father Schofield got to his outside, and he beat him. Well, he couldn't catch him in the straight, and he beat him by 1.3 lengths, and it was 3.8 lengths away to the first starter, Our Reply. The difference between winning and losing there could have been the winner finding the fence in the lead, and the hood helped, as I say. The fourth race on the flux screen, 99.9. We gave 95. First bet, the first runner back here was the winner, Libra, barrier 1, had box 1. Went straight to the lead. First bet I laid was $2,500, 1,000 the winner. Did start $3.70. I think they returned to $3.50. Might have been $3.40. Started $3.70, and it was able to hold the lead from barrier 1, and that got it home. My easy way in this race was the second horse, Aussie Kim. It came in one alley. It drew barrier 10 in a field of 12, and when the gates opened, I had it going straight to the lead, Aussie Kim, locally trained. I thought he'd be able to come from that alley and as I say, find the lead, but when the gates opened, the steward said that it missed a kick. I haven't looked at it closely yet, but I've got a funny feeling the horse went straight down its nose, and Buckley had to pull it back up, and when he did, well, they'd gone a little way, and he eased the horse out the last, went straight across to the fence, and from there he was able, after they were sliding down the side, he was able to get inside a few runners, and turning for home, angled out off the fence in between runners and finished up getting beat half a length. I think if he comes out the barrier, even if he might have gone, there's a good chance he might have gone up and sat outside the, or pressed on and led. And if he would have done that, he would have won for sure, but we will never know. the third favourite ran third, and that was Bethlehem, and it was always going to get back. It settled back in second last position near the fence. It flucked 7-2 out to 9-2, back into 7-2, $4.60, but started $5 on my board. I was desperate to lay more against it at the death. But by the same token, I lost on the race. So back a few roughies in the race, but it was a losing race for the captains. Race 5, 99.8 on the flux screen. Bookies gave 93 at the top odds. There was a go in this race. Few really good. It was hopeless, not worth a caser, but there was a couple of big goes in this race. Number 1, Car D, which wobbled around the turn a bit. He lost about a length on the turn. It was $40 into $11. And I laid, there was $12 taken off my board. I laid it at 40s. I laid it at 25 to 1. I laid it at 18 to 1. Or $18. I laid it at $15, and they took my 12, made me make it $11. It was a big go, and back for a lot of section. The winner, well, I'll get to the winner in a minute. The Tavinsky code. The other big go in the race was Crown Moss, backed by the pros. Number 1 was stable money. Crown Moss was backed by the pros from $9 into $5. Didn't show a lot of pace out of the barrier, and settled down a clear last, but made up plenty of ground. It was held up slightly turning for home, and it only got beat 0.2 of a length, and maybe a little bit unlucky. Slippery Moss, it only went up 5-2, but got to 9-2, but the pros took the 9-2 and the $5, very well backed, and they were the three goes. They were the three goes in the race. Horses who never had names were the opening favourite, locally trained. He is the king. It went from 5 to 2, $3.50 to $6. There's a bit of money from Ma Hero, 6 out to 8, back into 7, and down we go right down to the bottom. The one that I was mentioning before, Davinsky Code. It sat third last on the fence, and it was an easy way for the captains, getting 93%. An easy way. It was 7-2 to 13-2, $4.60 to $7.50. And if you were willing to take big risks in the race and give them 93, well, you got the cash. Race 6, we saw on the flux screen 97.4. There's only 7.4 less if you're a shop right. 90% bookies gave here, 90%. And I must admit, the favourites won the race, and I did win on the race. It's returned 6-4, $2.50. Myself and the captain in the outside ring were $3 when they jumped. A bit of tumbleweed blew up through the ring. There's no one else there to take the there was no one there to take the $3. And it was kicked at the barrier before the start, inspected by the vet, and it was passed fit to run, which was a good decision. It sat second. The second pick led in the race and ran second. Yes, she can. Went up $4. I knew it would be near the lead, which was going to, as I said before, was an advantage, but I still thought it was the weak, well, under the odds anyway. And it was my Blanc worst. First bet I laid, I think, was 3,400 to 1,000, and they took $4.20 off me and $4 for a good bit of section. It led and crossed and went straight to the lead, and Schofield, on the winner, Father Schofield, he once that he'd been crossed by Yes You Can, he got to its outside and was always travelling a little bit better than it. You could see in the run, just even on the TV. Of course, you could pick it up a lot better if you had binoculars, but on the TV you could still see that he was travelling a little bit better, and he waited till they turned for home, and he just balanced it up and finished up beating Yes You Can by 1.3 lengths. They got right away from the others. Was 3.3 lengths away to Miss 30 Gaze, who was $15 out to $26 running third. Figures were, as I said, 90% we gave. You know, it wasn't worth a dinar, and luckily I laid a few runners, but I caught a couple of roughies right, but for a little bit of money right, and stood the second horse. So everyone's got to be right every now and again. We get to race 7 on the flux screen, 97.7. A little bit less in the ring. They were on the ball, the Fuck Boys here. 96 we gave. And surprisingly, well, the winner was backed. The number 16, She'll Have a Go. Drew wide. I must admit, I marked it exactly, I marked it 20 to 1. I marked it 20s. And it was 20 to 1 taken. 20s into $18 early in the piece. Did start $21 on my board. I think I returned at 19. And I had it sort of midfield, and from that alley trapped off the track all the way. Buckley was able to get out of the barrier and keep it going, and didn't actually cross to the fence after when he got to the lead, but stayed 2 off. But then got to even coming around the turn, he was 1 off. Finished sort of, he was 4 off down when they turned for home in the middle of the track, and even turning for home, all the others were off the bit chasing it, and he was always going to be hard to run down, which proved to be the point. He won by 1.5 lengths from Killer Woman, who would have been an easy way for me. It drew an inside alley, came from about 6th position in between runners, found the line all right, and running third was On Taunt. It drew barrier 1 or box 1 the way the track played. Sat just a bit past midfield on the fence, railed inside runners, which helped it find the line well. It was 1.6 lengths away into third hole. Now, what was I going to say here? Bookies, well, there were 12 runners, and bookies gave 7 to 1 the field. It doesn't sound right, but of course, there were a few long price runners in that race and gave 96. 7 to 1 the field, bookies gave there. It was hard to get the punters to, the few that were there, and the pros to really get involved. What did they back? The pros stepped into Sweet Talkin' Woman, who was, it had the outside alley, was never ever going to lead, so it was going to be hard pressed, not finding a good position. And it was $11 into $5.50. You laid some good wages against it, sort of a good bit of money. Drop of Magic never had a name, was for $5 out to $7. I'm just looking for something else that was back to you. I laid I'm ready for something. The pros had 3,100 off the Miss Womberell. Well, that was about it. And as I say, the winner was backed early, $21 into $18, back out to 21 on my board. I did lay it for something. Then we come to the last, and it was 99.2 on the flux screen. Bookies gave good old 90. We gave 90 here, and this was a bad result for me. I don't know about the other captains. The flux say $30 into $11. I didn't want to miss it. I gave 50 to 1. I gave $50. They took the 50. They took the 40. They took the 30. Didn't go 25, 20. Take the 20. All right, now it's $17. Not for half brushed them at the 20. Now it's $17. Now, how much do you want on $17? Oh, to win 3,000. Yes, thank you. They finish up taking $12 and $13 towards the end. The betting started $11. I don't know whether anyone had it going straight to the lead. I most certainly didn't, but it was able to jump from. There were 11 runners, and it had barrier 11, and it was able to jump from that alley ridden by O'Brien, came straight across, found the money, had the opening equal favourite Sir Ganador right behind it on the fence, and when they turned for home, from one stride, looked like Sir Ganador was going to run up and get it, but O'Brien, who's a very good rider, he got home by 2 lengths at the finish, and Sir Ganador had just barely held on to third. Getting into second hole was Longrow Star, who sat in about fifth hole, came a little bit wide on the turn, and as I say, ran into second hole, beating the 2 lengths. The 2 opening picks in this race, as I said, bookies gave 90%, but the 2 opening picks, Sir Ganador and Real Steel, both went up 5 to 2, both $3.50. Sir Ganador was $3.50 to $6, and the other one, Real Steel, was $3.50 to $6.50. There's 32% of the market. I couldn't put them in my book. So it just goes to show you what value we had, and the winner was $50 into $11. I don't want to tell you how much I did in the race. I'm embarrassed. But anyway, that's what this game is like these days. As I said, you know, who's to blame for all this? This filthy Betfair. I wish they'd, you know what, back to England. It makes it... there's so many little crushes on there. They crush grapes. A lot of the people on Betfair, and there's tricks being played on it, and this and that and whatever. Plus this, the Jolly Green Giant now. All you poor race clubs, they've got you by the short and curlies, doing whatever they want. They tell you what time you start, what races you can have on. They're just running the show. And now they've got these fixed odds. They've got all these mugs falling into the fixed odds. If there's anyone out there watching me, and there's only a handful of you, I know, but you do happen to have a bet in the tab, my number's on my website. Give me a ring. If you want to take, I'll bet you the tab fixed odds if you want. But it'll be under what I'm betting all the time. So, you know, if anyone wants to open an account, ring me, and I'll bet you best fluctuation, and in the run, if you ring up and you're looking at the TAB odds, ring up, it's 10 to 1 on, I'm always better than them. So if you want to open up an account, give me a ring. All right, good night, bye.